All right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, it is our live episode on Cocaine Bear, recorded live at Maya Cinemas in North Las Vegas. And with me on this incredibly fun episode is Jason Harris, Michael Keene, and Luella Chavez. We had this really fun conversation after a screening of the film, and a bunch of people were out for the movie, and it was just a great time, and I'm really excited about doing more of these live shows. They're always so much fun to do. So that's coming up here in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you're subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod, and join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. So with that said, we're going to get into this insane movie, Cocaine Bear. All right, everybody, I'm David Rosen. I host the Piecing It Together podcast, and that's what we're about to do. We're going to talk about this insane movie and talk about the movies that may have inspired it. And my mom's taking my picture right now. It's distracting as hell. But anyway, before we get into the movie, I'm going to introduce my guests here, starting right here with Michael Keene. Michael, tell the people about yourself.
Hi, I am Michael Keene. I am a local filmmaker and I guess YouTube personality at this point, which is a very sad development, but that's okay. And thank you. And yeah, I made the movies Fatal Future, The Head from 2019, and the upcoming Dr. Death Face, which is about a vagina bed that eats people. And that's me.
Vagina, yeah.
Teeth.
So normally we don't do this, but because we're here, usually when we do these Piecing It Together podcasts, we've seen it like 24, 48, even a week earlier. And so this is just like a gut shot reaction. Did you like the movie?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I had some qualms,
Sure.
but overall, as far as like a time at the movies,
Right.
highly recommend. Just a good old time with my two favorite things, cocaine and bears.
Perfect. Absolutely. Jason Harris.
Yay.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Jason Harris. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a comedian. I'm an actor. I do a podcast that Dave produces called Awesome Movie Year, and I'm also on Piecing It Together every month doing the trailer episodes. So, and as of this last sentence, I'm starring in Michael's next movie. So good for me.
There we go. We're making connections right now. Jason, gut shot. What'd you think of the movie?
Yeah, this is what I want. That's you wanted to deliver on the promise of the title Cocaine Bear, right?
Sure, yeah.
And it did. And I liked how 80s-ish it felt,
Yeah.
which is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's, and thankfully it didn't make it 2 hours and 48 minutes like most movies nowadays. So
Hell
like
yeah.
it's a fun theatrical yarn.
There you go. Luella, introduce
Hello.
yourself to the people.
Actress, writer, comedian. I currently have a series going. It's called Bitches Be Crazy on YouTube, and you can also catch it on Instagram. What else do you want to know about me? I'm shy right now.
Those are good things. Those are all like really great, awesome things. Luella was one of the first guests on my podcast back when I first started it, so it's awesome that she's here tonight.
And that's
doing
crazy
this.
because we've never actually met in
Yeah.
person until today.
Yeah, most of the time I'm just like locked in my room recording these things. So I'm really happy to meet her and to have her out here tonight. What did you think of the movie?
It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
All right, short and sweet, to the point. I like it. That works. Well, we're going to get to some puzzle pieces here. And so for those of you in the audience here that don't listen to the show, haven't listened to it yet, I always like to do these live ones and introduce a puzzle piece, kind of get one out in the opens. That way you'll understand the concept. And I feel like the obvious one that a lot of people went into this movie with is Snakes on a Plane. So that would be our first puzzle piece that we kind of just bring to the conversation and talk about, like, setting you up with a ridiculous premise, a ridiculous title, like get the trailer out there and get like something that's quotable. I mean, that was pre-memes kind of. It was a while ago, but in a way it didn't really deliver, I feel like. And I feel like that's kind of a negative of what people expected this movie to be. I'll say right now, also, I really enjoyed it too, this movie, Cocaine Bear. I was sitting here cracking up the whole time. So, I mean, I had a great time. Snakes on a Plane didn't work as well. What do you guys think about Snakes on a Plane?
I remember liking Snakes on a Plane just fine, but definitely thinking that it did not fully. It feels like a very generic, action movie with snakes thrown in.
Yeah.
And so, you had that extra level of them doing the reshoots. So you had Samuel L. Jackson saying the line because, of course, the internet was ablaze, and it made it feel like the Steve Buscemi meme.
What's going on here? My mom's interrupting the podcast. Okay.
She's just Dave's mom's going back to. She's just throwing out.
She's just throwing them right in there. Okay. Well, thank you, Mom. Thanks
10
for
minutes
that.
later,
Yeah.
you're going to be in the middle of something, and your mom's going to be like, The Meg.
Yeah.
Jason Statham and a shock. The Meg.
Crossing Deep Blue Sea from 1999 off of my list, everybody. But, Jason, what about you? Snakes on the Plane?
Never saw it.
Yeah, never saw
Nope.
it? Yeah, you're not missing much, honestly.
I got things to do. I got important things to do.
You're not part of the zeitgeist?
I'm here tonight, right?
Yeah,
So,
sure. We'll get to it on Awesome Movie or maybe one day. But Luella, what about you?
I'm with Jason on that one.
Yeah.
I have not seen it. I felt very ill prepared for this. To be honest,
no.
when-
I mean, really, like I said, it wasn't that good. It was like a thing that you kind of should go to because it was like a fun idea, but yeah, it didn't work out.
So you should go to it because it didn't deliver on.
You
the
should be
promise of it.
disappointed. You should go to the theater, be disappointed, but at least you had a good time at the movies.
No thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to some more puzzle pieces. Michael, what do you have for your first piece?
Can I cheat and just throw one out that is kind of obvious I don't really want to talk about?
Sure. So this isn't your piece, but it's
not
just like
my
a
piece.
bonus.
It's like a bonus piece.
Okay.
There's the movie Grizzly from the 80s.
Sure.
That is it's the obvious one that when I first saw the trailer, I was like, well, yeah, Grizzly.
Yeah, for sure.
And on the one hand, that one has a lot of memeable stuff and great moments, has an amazing ending, and like forest rangers and shit. But yeah, it's like the quintessential big bear attacks and kills people thing. So I just want to recommend that to people. It has a beautiful Blu-ray available, beautiful Blu-ray. And then after that, don't go see Grizzly 2 because it's a massive piece of shit.
I think we established that pre-show, right?
Yeah.
So.
Huge piece of shit.
Yeah, okay.
Worst movie I've ever seen. But my puzzle piece would be Fargo. 1996's Fargo.
I was thinking that too. Actually.
Yeah. Because it's this, I mean, first off, it purports to be based on a true story, which obviously this is more based on a true story. And I like that they actually utilized an element of a true story that was not in the advertising material, so I thought that was really cool. But so Fargo it's a true story, quote unquote, far less so than Cocaine Bear. And then it takes place in the 80s, I think like 87. I don't remember do you remember when this takes place?
I think it's 87. That sounds about right.
Okay, so even better.
It's late 80s.
And it does that thing that the Coens do in that film, which is they introduce all these characters and they present you with all these reasons to not want them to fucking die. And there's several of them who you're like, well, that person has to live because, I mean, I'm so connected to, and then fucking kills them.
Yeah, every time.
And it, like, one thing that really took me off guard with Cocaine Bear was that I felt bad that people were dying.
Yeah.
Like I felt really bad for the paramedic chick. I felt really bad for the hiking couple. I felt really bad for Margo Martindale because Margo Martindale.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like Fargo, weirdly one of the first things that came to mind while watching the movie.
Yeah, but when I was like kind of coming up with stuff ahead of time, like I was thinking about that too because of like this is based on a true story and like of course it didn't go down like this at all, but just kind of throwing that out there at the beginning of the movie that it is a true story. It makes you wonder. They end it with the postscript of the cocaine was never found. Like, is there going to be like a weird foreign film about somebody going to find this cocaine that's now there, like they did with with Fargo? So, what's that movie called? Does anybody know?
It was
Coco's
Coco's Big Adventure in Fargoville.
There you go. That's right. Look it up. But Treasure Hunter. So yeah, Fargo fans over there?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Yes.
And of the TV show.
Yeah.
the Fargo show is awesome too. Absolutely. All right, Jason, what's your first piece?
Well, if we're going to cheat and he's going to go Grizzly, I'll say I thought a Grizzly Man, the Werner Herzog documentary about the dude who was obsessed with bears who met Timothy Treadwell, who met his demise via grizzlies, but that was just a little bonus fun piece there.
Sure.
So I'm going to go with a movie, Dave. This was directed by Elizabeth Banks. It takes place. There's a group of people all kind of in a woodsy area. The opening song is Jefferson Starship's Jane,
Hell yeah.
which is exactly the same opening song of
Wet Hot American
Summer, which Elizabeth Banks starred in with another great ensemble, all kind of, and this wasn't a summer camp, but having fun in the woods and, getting into hijinks. So I'm going to go with Wet Hot American Summer for my first piece there. Right off the theme song. Baby.
I love it. As soon as that song started playing, I was like, you know what? This movie is going to be good. I'm so excited right now, So, yeah. Hell yeah, Wet Hot American Summer is amazing. And, yeah, Elizabeth Banks, I mean, as a director, has been a little shaky up until this point, but, like, she is awesome.
I thought she only did Pitch Perfect, too.
Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think we all want to forget that.
Yeah. So, Luella, what do you have for your first piece?
All right, don't at me. I hate talking ill about the dead, but when I first saw Ray Liotta, I thought maybe this was the movie Monster because he looked like Eileen Wuornos.
Oh, wow. Karen.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean,
Sorry. I know that's dark.
He's looking for his drugs. What do you want from him?
Well, there you go.
He's done up as that, but yeah.
He wants drugs, and he wants to kill all those disgusting men who want to put their dinkies
Well,
inside.
there you go.
I thought she was going to say Goodfellas because obviously Henry Hill had that obsession with the drugs, just like his character did here. But,
Yeah, sure.
But you went a totally different way on it.
That's a fucked up piece.
Yeah, that's
I am
out there.
so sorry.
That's out there. But
I didn't mean to take it there, but hey, you know what?
Yeah, you got to put yourself out there. You got to put those pieces out. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I'll go with my first puzzle piece, which this past year the Daniels had a big hit with Everything Everywhere All at Once. And in 2016, their debut film, Swiss Army Man, that's going to be my puzzle piece because of the absolutely batshit insane bear sequence in that film towards the end, where there's all these like life lessons being taught as this bear is just completely demolishing poor Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. And the kind of the way that the action is shot, the way that this bear is just this unstoppable killing machine. And of course, in that movie, it's not on cocaine, but it's as insane in that movie. So it's definitely using like that insane over the top kind of action with bears. And so it's not trying to be at all like a realistic bear movie. So yeah, I went with Swiss Army Man for my first puzzle piece. Fans over there?
Yeah, I love Swiss Army Man.
So good.
I think that was a 5-star movie for me.
It was my favorite movie of 2016. So yeah.
I think it's going to win Best Picture in a few weeks.
The other one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I
Which
have
is
not
also
seen it.
very good. It was a very fun movie. But, I like Swiss Army Man more. Let's go on to your next piece, Michael. What do you got?
I'm just thinking about your love of farting corpses right now.
I do love them.
I almost went with Texas Chainsaw Massacre because of the whole like exploitation off of a true nugget and
Sure.
snowballing it. But instead, I'm gonna go with Reefer Madness. Let's say the OG, just
Yeah.
for shits and giggles.
Sure.
I guess it doesn't really matter. I was gonna go with one from then based on that was talking about cocaine, but I don't remember any PSA movies from the 30s and 40s
Not that
about
I could
cocaine.
think of. Yeah.
So I went with Reefer Madness because I love that it starts with that montage of PSA footage. Then it goes into the backstory and everything, and then from that point on, it kind of goes through like the rules of a PSA by like just the idea of you give a bear cocaine, what's going to happen? It's going to go fucking crazy.
Yes.
And it's going to fuck you up. And then all the characters learn the valuable life lesson of not fucking with cocaine.
Yeah, it's an important lesson to learn. And did Reefer Madness teach that lesson well?
No, I smoke a lot of weed.
He smokes a lot of cocaine, which is even worse.
That is pretty bad, actually. Yeah. Oh. I love that too. I love that. I love that they actually went there with having the kids do cocaine. That's that's completely insane. Like,
That was one of those like in the Blob remake where they kill the kid.
Right.
It's one of those like, oh, this is us showing you that. What is it?
My puzzle piece.
The Meg.
she's got another one.
It's the Meg with
Sophie's
the
choice. I wanted one of the kids.
Sophie's
to
choice.
David's mother just said, in case you.
I want
Your mom's on one.
She wanted one of the
Is she on cocaine right now?
She just told me to mention Schindler's List as her next puzzle piece.
Full-blown comment.
In case the listeners didn't hear that, David's mother once wanted one of the kids in Sophie's Choice to fucking die.
Yeah. As I often ask on Awesome Movie Year, how did you turn out so normal?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. All right, let's not dig too further deep into that. Jason, what's your next puzzle piece?
Dave, pick a decade, the 70s through the 2000s. I have pieces for all of them.
Okay, well, you already did kind of 80s, but let's go 90s.
Okay, so the 90s, there's the sequence in here where you see O'Shea Jackson and Ray Liotta's son, right, in the car, and it's done in singles just back and forth.
Oh, sure.
You know, and that very much, I got a couple from the 90s, but this is one of them. That very much reminded me of the sequence in Clerks where Kevin Smith was just whip panning back and forth, and he probably should have gone to singles there, but he was like a new filmmaker.
Right.
And it was just all about the quickness of the dialogue and learning about the characters through what they were saying. I think this was done more effectively in single, as opposed to one whip back and forth. So
Yeah.
I had Clerks as a piece there.
All right, that's interesting. And yeah, I mean, that goes more to the filmmaking. Did you think, because this movie, it is a universal, like, release. It's a major movie. Did you think it was, like, kind of scrappy? Like, it is kind of exploitation-y, but for a major studio film? Like,
I mean, it's a Cocaine Bear,
It's
so it's
Cocaine
got to
Bear.
be a little grindhousey, but it feels like a major, feels like a big movie. Like,
Yeah.
a movie theater movie.
yeah, it's a weird one, though, for
I think
sure.
it counts as an exploitation movie. I mean, it's taking a sad event and then creating a movie out of it that's a
Uh-oh.
big spectacle.
We got a son here.
David's
going
mom
on
is
here?
super
Give her a
fucked up on
mic.
cocaine.
I think so.
About the male relationship. This is before any of you were born. Midnight Cowboy.
Oh,
That's
a
who you
classic.
wanted, yeah.
Okay, I was getting some kind of a vibe.
You got a
Do you
vibe
put all of
there.
her puzzle pieces in the
Her
I mean, this hasn't happened before.
not
Midnight Cowboy?
I think it's
Cruising?
on the list, though.
Cruising Al Pacino. Do you want?
DVR. I haven't watched it.
Cruising's great.
It's a
We
great
watched it
movie.
for,
Yeah.
I think
Awesome movie here.
That was down past the kitchen, south of. Okay, I'm out.
If anyone else wants to raise a hand,
Luella, what do you got for your next piece?
Well, I was gonna say, okay, I thought the character, the young kid that takes them to the gazebo, he reminded me of Zach Braff in Broken Hearts Club. It's Broken Hearts Club, right? Anyways, but I know Elizabeth Banks was in quite a few episodes of Scrubs. So, and there were a couple of things that I can't think of any specific examples at the moment, but there were a few things that felt like a little bit of like Scrubs Easter eggs for me.
so if I can.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So all those things where like, you would see Isiah Whitlock talking about the dog, and then they would flash to just like an idea of him like holding the dog.
Yes,
those,
yes,
those
yes.
were very Scrubs like.
Right, like the
cuts.
drifting off into little.
Yeah, no, and that is like, again, like for a major like studio film, it's kind of a weird thing to see, and like but it's pulled off really well. I think like those asides, they don't do them too often, like maybe like 5 times or something, but each time it was pretty damn funny. Like everything with Isiah Whitlock is hilarious, and like everything with like all those kind of little flashback moments were good, I thought.
No, I
Yeah.
thought they were totally,
I did hate, the only one I didn't like was the one in the night when they like find the dead hiker.
That was random.
it's-
Why didn't they
it's
show
so-
that?
Well,
Like-
not only, I mean, I understood the impetus like as like a joke, but all the night scenes in this are shot like shit.
Yeah,
it's my
super
big
dark,
problem.
dog.
They're
Right.
they're fucking
Yeah.
horrible night scenes, and so in that moment, I was so confused because I didn't realize they were doing the gag again because it had been like 40 minutes since they did it before, and then all of a sudden one of them just falls into the face of the dead body, but then they're back up again, fine, and I was utterly out of my mind confused,
Right, it was, like,
for a
very
good
strange.
5 seconds.
When they go through the cave and they get to the falls, which we've heard about this whole movie, right? And they look out, you want to see this beautiful, pristine image, and it's just so dark, and you can't
It's
even
just
see.
dark, shitty CGI and like zero lighting. It's all been graded to shit.
Wouldn't have happened with Tom Cruise if he was the star.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking Marvel finale. Am I right? Come on, let's fucking go.
Oh man, I'll go with the Velocipastor for my next puzzle piece here. Which, look, having a, the title thing like we've talked about with Snakes on the Plane, like it is such a gamble because most of these things turn out terrible. But The Velocipaster, I don't know how many people in this audience have seen that movie, but it's actually really funny because it doesn't just rest on it's a Velocipaster. It's going to be so funny. Like there's actually jokes in the movie. Every couple of minutes there's a joke. It's actually set up more like a spoof of the animal mixed with the horror kind of trope kind of thing. The way that they make these movies. This past week we have this Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie, which I haven't seen it yet, but based on the trailer, it seems like it's just
that's the whole movie.
It's the whole movie. Like, isn't that hilarious that we made this? But The Velocipaster is filled with jokes from beginning to end, and this. It wasn't just the Cocaine Bear. They actually made a comedy out of it. And so that's why I felt like The Velocipaster is one of the rare examples of it where somebody actually takes the premise and goes somewhere with it.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I was like the one person that did not like Velocipaster.
You weren't into it? No. Yeah. Jason, did you see it?
No.
No. Your awesome movie year co-host Josh Bell was my guest on that one. He loved it too. What about you, Luella?
I have never seen that.
Yeah. It's wild. It's fun, but Michael doesn't like it.
That sounds.
But Josh Bell liked the head, so I might have to. I'll give him one.
There you go. Well, does anybody have any more puzzle pieces they wanted to bring up to this?
I had a whole bunch.
I know you said you have one for every.
I had like 3 from the 90s.
Yeah. I had Deep Blue Sea, which my mom stole from me, so I had that on my list. What else did I have?
I had the new Jumanji with The Rock and Kevin Hart, and Jack
Okay.
Black. Just the landscape and a few of the shots when they were showing like them specifically, I guess when the boy was in the tree and like they're pulling away and showing Keri Russell's face and stuff like that. Just
Well, it's very digital, and like that one sequence though is so funny when the bear is up the one tree and smells the cocaine, so he runs down and back up the next tree. But that reminded me of like a gag right out of that Jumanji movie, so I could totally see that.
It had a few like video elements that
Sure.
were like that kind of vibe, and even some of the little music,
Yeah.
That's called CGI. It does look like a video game.
Pretty much.
Well,
Jason,
thanks.
run them down. What do you got?
I mean, right off the bat, Stand By Me, 2 kids going into the woods,
Yeah.
looking,
Doing
for
coke.
a day and then turning into a different type of adventure. And also with those side flashes. I mean, you've got to pick any of those 90s kind of drug movies. I put Dude, Where's My Car? Because I thought that was the one that kind of
That's a good one. Yeah.
tonally the most of it. And also in the 90s, you had, Harold and Kumar would have fit too, but that scene where they're in the car and, the raccoon, was it a raccoon that attacks them and everything that they think's dead or
God,
whatever
I haven't seen it in
is.
a while. Obviously, I was stoned.
But
so.
I mean, that was like a big trope in the 90s. I had Tommy Boy where they ran over a deer and they put the deer in the backseat and then the deer fucks up the whole car. And I like the law chasing down the drugs, so I went back to Smokey and the Bandit for a
You
different
love that
type
movie.
of
I was definitely getting like the whole 80s thing, like the Goonies, and she had
Yeah.
the little hat like Mama Fratelli.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Like,
you
so
go.
like, that gave me that vibe. And then too, like Stranger Things, like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
did very well at that whole.
Yeah, it had more of an 80s vibe than I was even expecting. I knew it was set there, but I mean, we had
Right.
Depeche Mode in there. We had
The music was amazing.
Oh, so many great tracks in there. And then that opening track. So, yeah. Michael, what else do you got?
Well, I was actually going to say Stand By Me, but this motherfucker. I mean, obviously there's Goodfellas.
Sure.
I would actually say The Blob, actually. I mentioned
That
before.
remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So recently we had a death in cinema. George T. Miller.
George T. Miller.
The other Australian director whose name is George Miller. And he did Neverending Story 2. But it reminded me, there was this movie from 2005 called Attack of the Sabertooth. And I remember it because I think it's the movie, and I could be mistaking it with one of the other many CGI Sabertooth attack movies out there in the landscape of 2005.
Sure, yeah.
But I remember the Sabertooth, there's like a giant Sabertooth statue in the middle of this park. It's like Jurassic Park, but just Sabertooth.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you get. It's discount. And the tooth on the Sabertooth gets jiggled free, and falls onto the main villain, and I think it like skewers him like right in his mouth. It's
Nice.
terrible. But that movie is chock full of awful CGI giant animal. And I don't mind it here because it's really hard to get a solid CGI bear for, I don't know, it felt like it had a lot of runtime dedicated to it. Like it was a lot of bear.
It is the titular character.
Well, I was thinking about that too because like I've seen like some people on Twitter today like complaining about the movie, like, oh, there's not even that. Like, how much bear could you possibly get? Like, you don't get that much Jaws. You don't get that much of like anything.
I was expecting more Jaws. Another puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Sometime in the 80s or 90s, a movie called The Bear.
Yes.
Serious movie.
Yes.
And only one line is spoken by the hunters.
Yes.
At the very end. That's a lot of bear.
Yeah.
You got to tell us what the line is now.
Kill that motherfucker.
Let him live.
It was a family movie.
Do you mean Jack
I
the Bear
saw it.
with Danny DeVito?
Thanks for that, Mom.
Got at least one guy sleeping.
Well,
But
Hey.
I thought that it was pretty good CGI overall for that much bear time.
Sure.
But at the same time, it was like, this is a lot of just very CGI bear. And it didn't bother me when it was moving, but like when the bear was on top of, was that fucking Han Solo?
yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I know.
Being in a good movie.
He disappeared for a
That
while.
was
Also
Harrison
a Coen Brothers
Ford?
connection.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It took me like a good hour to realize that was him.
Yeah.
But when the bear's laying on him, passed out from its post-cocaine days, it was a CG bear the entire time. Like you couldn't get one fucking prop bear.
Yeah.
You're Elizabeth Banks. You eat breakfast that's worth more than me. One fucking practical. You're not gonna hurt a fucking real bear if it's a fucking fake bear. Just fucking throw a fake bear on Han Solo.
He could have just been laying there with a. Wait, so you think that he was underneath the?
No, it was CGI on top of him, and it drove me fucking crazy because like you had they're trying to like checking the bear, and you could see where the CG artists were like trying to composite in the bear, and it's like that shot. What's that recent movie with Jonah Hill and where
You people.
you people?
Kiss?
There's that kiss
Still
in You
getting
People.
CGI the kiss.
Where it's that awful CGI kiss, and
Yeah.
it's that same thing you see when a CG artist is like, "Fuck, we can't quite get this right. Just put some fucking shadow in it, and yeah, it's fine." And that's what happened anytime someone was touching this fucking bear.
Yeah.
And you could just like put a little fucking fake fur, just put a little patch of fucking fur, and they might have done that and like CGI'd it out because it was just really poorly done. In which case, don't give the fucking CGI artist such a fucking heart attack. Do it right the fucking first time.
Well, as we know, none of them are paid well. So,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them in the credits for any given film, and they make like 2 cents an hour.
Pretty much. Yeah. Let's bring this all down a whole bunch.
Little Chinese kids in mines.
Dave, can I tell a story?
A story.
That's relevant.
If it's relevant,
Story.
my mom's gonna probably interrupt you,
All
but
right,
go
all
for
right.
it.
Depends where you
Isaiah Whitlock, who's great in this,
Oh, he's so good.
right?
Yeah.
So he's obviously the lawman in this one. I was at a film festival this summer, and he was there, and he was in a short film, and he won Best Actor, like in a short film, right? And he got up and he gave his speech, and he's crying, and he's like, "I never win anything," and it's like, "You're Isaiah Whitlock. You're amazing, right? Like you should win everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, Five Bloods, The Wire, right?" And then later that night, I won an award for a screenplay, right?
Yeah.
And at this festival, I said, because I recognize Isaiah Whitlock when he was Clay Davis on The Wire, right? And his big catchphrase was "shit," right? So I go, I've been at this festival I've been nominated here 5 times, and I've never won until now. And I guess the only thing I could say about that, and I look at Isaiah Whitlock and I go, is shit, right? And he comes up to me afterwards, right? And he just stares me down for about a minute. And I'm like, okay. And I don't say anything. And then he just breaks it and he goes, shit. And I was like, that's the moment. I just won the film festival right now with that. So that was pretty cool.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's what you want in those experiences.
I'm really glad you get to die happy.
I mean, that's what you want in those moments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
You
people
say,
do get-
not to say he's a hero, but they say don't meet your heroes. But if you meet Isiah Whitlock, you want him to come up to you and go, "She."
That's all you want, absolutely. I'll throw a couple last ones out here. I mean, my mom brought up Deep Blue Sea, but I also wanted to bring it up because it's genetically engineered sharks. This is cocaine enhanced sharks bears. So kind of these other animal attack kind of things never really have that hook to them. So I thought it was a really good one to be part of the conversation here. The other one I thought of was Annihilation, the scream bear, the bear that's been mutated by the shimmer or whatever in the Alex Garland film, and just lots of shots of bears just roaring. There's some really good stuff of that here.
I had Crank as a piece because you start off with the promise, right? And it's like a lot of these movies we're talking about don't deliver.
Yeah.
And Crank goes from 0 to high voltage, so to speak, no pun intended. And it stays delivering the whole time in a level of insanity. And I thought that Cocaine Bear did a good job of keeping the insanity.
Yeah,
The whole point. It didn't let down.
absolutely.
Oh, Bringing Out the Dead.
Oh shit.
It's fucking paramedics having a bad time.
That's funny.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one to end it on. Any closing thoughts on Cocaine Bear, Michael? Let's start with you.
Will I rewatch this a lot? No. Will I rewatch it once? Maybe. But as far as just a nice theatrical experience to wash the taste of a not so great movie, Quantumania, out of my mouth, that was a good fucking time.
Yeah.
Good fucking time.
I'm with you. Jason, what about you?
I'd like to see Elizabeth Banks move more into this territory than doing just sequels of IP and everything like that. And
Sure.
we know she's already kind of put out the cocaine shark feeler, so
Yeah.
that might be next on the list. It's fun. It's February, so I'm always looking out for more original stuff than hey, this Creed 3's next week or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. So I'm happy that we're getting stuff like this already this year.
That's a really good point because people complain all the time about it's all sequels, it's all IP, fucking Cocaine Bear. When have we done that before? So yeah, it's weird, it's out there, but at least it's something different. So
Support Cocaine Bear.
There you go.
Hashtag support Cocaine
He's
Bear.
going to edit it to just have you say support cocaine.
Yes, definitely. Luella, what about you?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I probably might watch it maybe 1 or 2 more times. It had a really good pacing. They were, like everybody was saying, it was a lot of fun throughout. It was, it was something different. I don't usually watch movies like this. That's why my puzzle pieces were a little different.
Yeah.
And it was very entertaining. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It was just something to do.
A fun time at the movies. But
For sure.
back to your Jumanji piece from before, these movies where a bunch of different groupings of people are all going through a different version of the same setup, and then they it provides a lot of variety to the initial idea of there's this crazy cocaine bear out in the woods and attacking people. So instead of just one group getting attacked, you get all these different groups attacked. I mean, that reminds me of your Jumanji piece too.
No, and I think that's a good point because I think that also is why there's a little something for everybody because I don't think this would be the typical type of movie that I would go and see
Right.
on my own.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
But you did do a lot of cocaine before, so that was...
Yeah, I did.
For
No,
sure,
the only
for sure.
coke I do is diet.
Heyo.
I like that you brought your mom to the one where it's all about being a good parent.
Yeah, that's true.
Moi,
You.
the worst.
Uh-huh.
The worst.
Uh-huh.
Let him cut
Does it-
school.
can I-
Yeah.
Did you find it interesting that Matthew Rhys, who's a legitimate movie and television star, just his entire part was dancing on a plane with no lines and then falling to his death?
He was
You
great.
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
He's Perry Mason right now. You would think he'd get a line or something.
Oh,
like
The
that.
Americans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. There's
Was
a
Margo
reunion.
Martindale? Margo Martindale was in The
I think
Americans.
so.
Yes, she was. All three of them were.
I'm gonna keep fucking adding puzzle pieces
Yeah.
until you shut this
Oh,
down.
I did think of Dark Knight Rises with that scene.
Oh, the plane scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, where the Joker throws all the cocaine on Gotham.
No, The Dark Knight Rises with Bane.
Oh, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
With Bane.
Bane.
No one said Scarface. I'm surprised.
Oh yeah, Scarface. Yeah.
I was gonna try to watch that in preparation for this, but I never really got around to it.
I feel like doing this podcast, like the best ones are like these movies where you're like, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this. And so, I mean, this is fun that we're like throwing these last ones in here before we wrap it up. So, yeah, I love all those extra ones. And Scarface, absolutely. Come on. It's great.
Anything, Mom?
Mom, one last one?
I'm afraid. You guys pick me apart. So, all right.
Supportively.
I'm going to say made in the late 40s, early 50s. I think I have a copy on VHS. It was either called Alligator People or Alligator Man. And you can actually see in some of the shots, it's black and white. And in some of the shots, you can see where his costume ends and the jeans.
That's amazing.
That's
Your
the
mom
bad
should be-
CGI of that era.
Why has
Her boyfriend becomes an alligator, and at the end he has to walk into the lake. Oh, please! I went to the tell them, where was I?
Where were you?
When you were in utero.
Oh,
Where was
the
I?
world's worst film festival.
Right. He's mentioned this on.
Beacon Theater in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my taste is.
He told us this story on Awesome Movie Year on my
I
podcast
have the
when we did
program.
Ed
I
Wood.
offered it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They saved Hitler's brain. They had the original Night of the Living Dead.
Do you think Cocaine Bear would play at a festival like that?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Oh wow. 1956, directed by Broadway melody of 1936's very own Roy Del Ruth. The Alligator People, starring Beverly Garland.
Oh my God!
Oh, shit.
Is she in the
Beverly Garland was
10,000
fucking
Leagues
hot as
or
shit.
20,000 Leagues
Yeah.
Beneath the
Why
Sea?
isn't your mom on the show more often?
I know.
She should be on.
Right?
I take care of dogs.
You take care of dogs?
And Lon Chaney Jr.
Like Rosetta. Like
Yeah.
Rosetta
Oh,
in the
yeah.
film.
We like that scene. We were both cracking up
Yeah.
down here and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
And a side note.
It was
also
Rosette,
that you guys
not
might
Rosetta.
know, and this happened back before I met Richie. So this would be in the 60s. Went to the 14th Street Y and saw the original Nosferatu and the original Tarzan. And there's a guy, 50 cents, and there's a guy sitting at a piano, and he's tinkling. There's no sound. And hello.
Just
I have
giving you the
I
mic.
have- Hi.
Talking
Yes.
to the mic.
Keep talking.
14th Street Y, original Nosferatu, and the original Tarzan. I don't remember who was in them.
I was really hoping that story would end with like, and Dave,
No,
you have a brother you've never met it all started then.
That'll be on the next episode, I'm sure.
And you found Alligator People.
Alligator People,
What?
1956.
Oh my God.
Everyone wants to be friends with you, Sonny.
God, another one?
Yeah.
No, I'm.
We'll
I'm
put her
blo-
Facebook in the show notes.
I'm,
So,
blo- I'm
yeah.
blocking people.
She said you're blocked.
I have too many friends that are almost at 40, and that's not normal.
Well, Beverly Garland, she's in Kuruku, Beast of the Amazon,
Oh.
where she's fucking hot.
There you go.
Guys, watch more Beverly Garland movies. Holy shit, smoke show.
Really,
The
that's
message to end the podcast on. Michael, where can they find you?
I'm on YouTube. I think it's like Michael.
he knows what
Keene
it
Doodles
is.
or something. I don't know. Nobody uses fucking YouTube URLs. Look up Michael Keene. I'm the one who's not the guitarist from The Faceless.
And not the big-eyed doll paintings, the Keene paintings.
Oh well, yeah, but that's not Michael Keene.
Oh.
I think it's spelled differently too. I don't
Oh,
remember.
I think he's Key
Yeah. Anyway, you can find me on the YouTubes, and you can find my movies on like IMDb and shit, Letterboxd. You can go you can watch The Head on Tubi.
Yeah.
The 2019 The Head on Tubi, and then you can leave a fucking review on Letterboxd and make it a goddamn good one. That's all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. And after you watch The Head, listen, our first ever live Piecing It Together was on The Head at Sin City Horror Fest.
Yeah.
Go listen to that episode.
Also,
Jason.
watch the Spanish-produced limited series The Head on HBO Max, which is a murder mystery that takes place in Antarctica.
Inspired by Michael Keene.
That's a really
recommend
sore
it.
subject for me.
Is that really?
Well, not literally, but it was one of those like it came out after we finished The Head, and I was just like, son of a bitch, because it was right at the same year, and
yeah.
I was like, oh god, it pissed me off.
It was good.
It was better than my movie. I know. God damn.
Jason, where
I'm on all the socials. Jason Harris Comedy, Jay Harris Comedy, all that stuff. We do awesome movie year, all that fun stuff. I do stand up all over the place, and that's it. What else do you want?
That's all I wanted, really.
Leave me alone, Dave.
Yeah, Luella.
I am on Instagram. It's Luella.Chavez, and everything else is just Luella Chavez. Right now, I'm not. I want to just make sure everybody knows that I'm doing the CrossFit Open, and they're having us upload our competition on YouTube, so it's on my channel mixed in there. But don't watch that; it's very boring. It's just me working out.
You got to find a way to cross it over. Or something, so.
I should have just made a new account
Run
just
from
for
a
that.
bear.
I can't wait to delete those.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. That is our show. We're going to do some trivia as I break down all of the equipment. But again, thank you, and thank you to Maya Cinemas for having us.
Thank you.
All right, let's do some cocaine.
Woo!
I'm Josh Bell.
And I'm Jason Harris, and we co-host a podcast called Awesome Movie Year.
Each season, we take a look back at an awesome year for movies, which is every year.
We deep dive into these specific years, and we pick out why they were such great years for films. We go over the biggest hits, the biggest flops, the best picture, some personal picks, some cult classics.
Years we've covered in past seasons include 1994, 2003, 1977, and 1984, and we've got all of film history to look forward to. So check us out at awesomemovieyear.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that live episode on Cocaine Bear. Hopefully my mom didn't interrupt things too much in there, but she did plenty. But it was great having her there, and it was great that all the people that showed up, and thank you at home for listening. And thank you to my guests, and thank you to Film Frog for helping me put this on, and thank you to Maya Cinemas for having us there, and I'm hoping that we'll be doing some more live shows in the future. So make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever it is that you listen to podcasts to find out about all our new episodes, and make sure to follow us on social media at Piecing Pod to keep up with all the news about everything else going on with the podcast. We're on all the socials. You can also find our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. We also have a Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, from Awesome Movie Year, and from my music career. Lots of great stuff over there, so check it out. It's patreon.com/bydavidrosen. We appreciate you just being out there listening, but if you want to support the show that way, go for it. We appreciate that too. So, yeah, that does it for today's episode on Cocaine Bear. And let's close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And you know what? I was going to play one of my more like insane upbeat kind of tracks, but this movie being about a cocaine bear, it was making me think of my Lily Bear, our cat who passed away a couple years ago. But my upcoming album, The Pup Pups, which is a novelty album of songs about my pets, Lily Bear has a song on there called Muffin Maker. So I'm going to play Muffin Maker for you. She's a bear, a different kind of bear, but this song I think will fit anyway. So let's play Muffin Maker. We'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
Hey there, little kitty, why don't you make me something? Come on over here just to make some muffins. Hey there, little kitty, why don't you make me something? Climb up upon my belly and I'll make some muffins. You know that there is something I've been eating. I see you over there just baking and eating. I know you got that recipe for making something so tasty. So why don't you come on over here and just make a batch for me? Hey there, little kitty, why don't you make me something? Come on over here just to make some muffins. Hey there, little kitty, why don't you make me something? Climb up upon my belly and I'll make some muffins. You might call it baking bread, you might call it making biscuits, but whatever you call it, baby, you know they're making something delicious. I said
All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.
And then the greatest bear movie ever, of course, is a serious movie. That's the one. I don't know the name of that either. At this age, Anthony Perkins and Alec, the one who just killed the lady.
No,
Alec Baldwin.
Anthony. It's called The Edge.
Allegedly.
But the Cutting Edge is the ice skating movie.
Oh yeah, is it
Dave, you got to start this.
And Grizzly Park. You got to watch Grizzly Park. It's a pisser.
We'll get more thoughts from you in the car on the ride home, Mom.
Grizzly Park in my queue.
I'm telling you, when he sweats at the
and
girl
she's back.
And her implants come flying out. The fake implants. Holy shit.
The Edge is a good piece. I didn't think
The
about
Edge
it
is
for
that
us.
David. I think it's David Mamet. That's some serious shit.
There you go.
There you go.
Did David Mamet do The Edge?
I don't think so.
I think it was one of those famous.
Maybe.
Dave, start the
depressing
podcast.
plays.
I should
See who
start
the
the
playwright
podcast.
was.
Yeah.
It was a depressing playwright.
All right.
Depressing.
Finding out who that
It
playwright
was
will
David
be.
Mamet.
Holy
Fuck me.
shit.
Holy shit!
See, that's why we're allowing her to keep going.
I'm so fucking smart.
All right.